The night sky above the alien world was empty. Only broken satellites drifted in silence. Below, cities were in ruins, farms were dry, and the people were starving. They had sent messages for help again and again, but the galaxy did not answer. Their leader, a young alien woman named Soraya, stood inside a damaged control room, her hands shaking as she tried to power the last transmitter. Sparks flew from the wires, but she did not stop. She spoke into the static, her voice trembling yet strong. To anyone who can hear us, we beg you. Our children are dying. Our people are broken. We need food, medicine, anything. Please help us. The signal carried across the void, weak, broken, yet full of sorrow. She waited, staring at the dark screen, but only silence replied. Days passed. Hunger grew worse. Entire families collapsed in the streets. Soraya's advisors told her to stop. They said no one cared for the weak. They said the Galactic Council only helped rich worlds, and to them, her people were worthless. Still, she refused to give up. Every night she sent the same desperate words, hoping, praying someone would listen. She stood in the ruins of her capital, listening to the cries of children, and her heart burned with both despair and determination. Far away, on a small blue world called Earth, hidden satellites picked up her broken cry. The message reached a human listening station deep under the ocean. At first, the officers thought it was just noise, but then they heard her voice. They gathered around the speakers. The room fell silent as the words played again. Please, help us. We are dying. The commander of the station, a man named Captain Rourke, frowned deeply. We've heard this pattern before, he said. Alien worlds cry for help, but the council ignores them. This is not the first. His officers shifted uneasily. They knew the truth. Earth was not considered a great power. Humans were often mocked in galactic meetings, yet here was a call no one else would answer. A debate began. Some argued that Earth should stay out of alien problems. Others warned that sending aid could risk war. Still, as the words echoed through the chamber, no one could look away. Captain Rourke finally spoke. I will send this to High Command, but mark my words. This is not just about food. If we answer, we must be ready for more. Within hours, the message reached the Human Council in Geneva. World leaders gathered in secret. Around them were generals, scientists, and diplomats, all listening to the same broken plea. The president of Earth leaned forward, her face pale with emotion. Look at them, she whispered. A whole people crying into the dark, and the galaxy does nothing. If we do nothing, are we any better? Some generals warned again. If we interfere, enemies may come. They will not forgive humans for stepping where the council refuses to go. But others argued with fire in their voices. This is our chance, not for conquest, not for greed, but to show the galaxy who we truly are. We are not cold like them. We do not turn away from the dying. The debate stretched through the night, yet as dawn broke over the Earth, the decision was made. The humans would answer. Secret orders spread through Earth's hidden fleets. Vast cargo freighters were prepared, their holds filled with rice, grain, water, and medicine. Alongside them, powerful warships warmed their engines, ships built in secret, ships no one outside Earth knew existed. Soldiers and volunteers loaded supplies with quiet determination. Doctors kissed their families goodbye. Engineers checked weapons and shields. The fleet was preparing for both mercy and battle. Soraya, far away, sat weak and exhausted in her ruined chamber. Her people had begun to lose hope. Every message she sent was swallowed by silence. She whispered to herself, maybe no one will come. Maybe the galaxy truly wishes us gone. Then one night, the stars above her world trembled. She rushed outside, her eyes widened as she saw strange lights breaking through the clouds, enormous shapes moving across the heavens. Her heart pounded. For a moment, she thought invaders had arrived to finish them, but then her radio crackled with a new voice. Calm, steady, human. This is Captain Rourke of the Earth Fleet. We heard your cry. We are bringing food, water, and medicine. Hold on, you are not alone anymore. Tears streamed down her face. The people around her fell to their knees. Hope returned where there had been only despair. Yet above the world, in the silent darkness, human battlecruisers also glided into position, their cannons ready, their shields glowing, for humanity had come not only with mercy but also with strength. And the galaxy would soon learn that Earth had answered a call no one else dared. The alien world woke to a sight they had never imagined. Enormous human freighters broke through the skies, their hulls shining like silver mountains. They moved slowly, carefully, as if carrying the weight of both mercy and power. On the ground, thousands of starving aliens gathered in fear and awe, their eyes wide, their thin bodies trembling. For generations, they had only seen raiders or soldiers arrive from the stars, never saviors. Soraya stood at the edge of the landing site, her heart pounding. The dust swirled around her as the largest ship lowered its ramp. With a deep metallic groan, the gate opened and humans stepped forward. The first to walk out was Captain Rourke, tall, calm, his uniform neat but practical. He carried no weapon in hand, only a translator device that clicked to life. His voice echoed across the plain. "We are from Earth. We bring you food, water, and medicine. We bring you hope." Behind him, humans carried boxes, barrels, and strange machines. The aliens' guy sped when they saw what the humans built in hours. Huge tents filled with tables, kitchens that produced bread, steaming rice, and fresh soup. Water flowing from portable wells. The starving people rushed forward, but froze, afraid it was a trap. Rourke raised his hand gently, smiling. "Eat. This is for you." Then the first alien child stepped forward, thin and shaking. He took a piece of bread from a human's hand. He bit into it, tears streaming down his face, and he cried out in joy. The crowd erupted. Thousands of voices screamed and wept. They rushed forward, falling on their knees as humans gave them food. Children clutched apples and fruits they had never tasted before. Mothers held bowls of soup with trembling hands. Fathers embraced their families as life returned to their eyes. The humans did not stop. They worked like rivers, feeding, healing, and giving. Doctors set up tents and began treating the sick. Engineers repaired broken machines, and soldiers stood watch, protecting the crowd with silent vigilance. But high above, not all eyes were grateful. Alien warlords who once ruled this starving world watched from the shadows. They whispered among themselves. "Humans are fools. They waste their supplies. Soon the weak will eat and grow strong, but we will take it from them, just as we always have." Their spies crept near the human camps, watching, searching for weakness. They saw the great ships filled with endless supplies, and their greed burned. Soraya knew of these warlords. She feared they would betray the humans. She tried to warn Rourke, "Your kindness is dangerous. These men are not like my people. They will turn on you." Rourke listened, his face stern. "Earth has always known betrayal, but we do not fear it. Mercy is our weapon too." Yet even as he spoke, his eyes drifted to the horizon where human battlecruisers hovered in silence, their guns glowing faintly. He knew kindness alone could not survive in the galaxy. That night, as the aliens feasted for the first time in years, joy filled the ruined streets. Children laughed, music returned, hope sparked like fire. But inside the shadows, the warlords made their move. Their soldiers crept toward a human freighter loaded with food, planning to seize it and claim the power for themselves. They moved silently, but the humans had been watching. As the traders opened the hatch, alarms screamed, lights flared, and armed human marines surrounded them in seconds. The traders froze, their weapons trembling in their hands. Rourke himself stepped forward, his voice calm but sharp as steel. "You came to steal from those who are dying. You came to betray the hands that feed your people. Look above you." The warlords looked up and saw the shadow of a human battlecruiser drifting over the sky, its cannons glowing like suns. "We came with mercy," Rourke continued, "but do not mistake mercy for weakness. Earth will not be mocked." The crowd fell silent, watching, hearts frozen in fear. The traders begged for forgiveness, yet Rourke's eyes showed no softness. Soraya stepped forward, tears in her eyes. She knelt before Rourke. "Please, do not abandon us because of them. My people need you. We are not all traitors. We are desperate, but we are not faithless." Rourke paused. The silence was heavy. Then he lowered his hand, his voice carried across the camp. "Very well. This time we forgive. But hear me clearly. The next betrayal will be met with fire, not bread." The traitors were dragged away. The people cried in relief. Soraya bowed deeply. "Humans are not like the council. You give and you protect. You are both merciful and strong." Rourke did not answer. His gaze drifted to the stars, because he knew something more dangerous was coming, far beyond the ruined world. Signals had been sent. Enemies had noticed Earth's fleet, and they were on their way. The days that followed were unlike anything the starving aliens had ever known. The streets that once echoed with cries of hunger now carried the sound of laughter. Bread filled their hands, clean water flowed from fountains, and hope returned like a forgotten song. But in the shadows, tension grew. The captured traitors whispered from their cells. Their followers still moved among the people, spreading doubt. The humans are not saviors, they muttered. They will use you, then they will rule you. Their ships are not only for food, they are for war. Fear mixed with gratitude, and whispers began to divide the people. Soraya walked through the camps, watching children eat for the first time in months. Yet in her heart, a storm raged. She could see both sides. Humans were kind, but their ships were terrifying. The same hands that fed could also destroy. Late one evening, she approached Captain Rourke, who stood at the edge of the camp, staring up at the looming battle cruisers that floated above like silent giants. "You give us life," she said softly, "but some fear you came with chains, not gifts. Tell me, Captain, why did Earth truly come?" Rourke's eyes stayed on the stars, his voice calm. "Earth has known suffering too. We remember when no one helped us. We will not be like the Council. We came with food because mercy is our choice, but we brought ships because the galaxy respects only strength." Soraya looked at him, unsure if comforted or frightened. The next night, the warlords made their boldest move yet. Under the cover of darkness, a group of their soldiers ambushed a human patrol, blasters flashing, screams tearing the silence. 2 human Marines fell wounded, alarms ripped across the camp. Marines surged forward, weapons raised, searchlights cut through the night. The traitors fled but were quickly surrounded. The people woke in terror, watching as the humans dragged the rebels into the square, their armor gleaming under the cold lights. Rourke stepped forward, his voice sharp as steel. "We gave you bread, you gave us bullets, we gave you mercy, you gave us betrayal. Tell me, why should Earth stay? Why should we not burn every ship you own and leave you to the silence?" The crowd gasped. Mothers clutched their children, fathers bowed their heads. Even Soraya trembled, for in that moment she saw what humanity truly carried. Not just compassion, but power that could erase them in a heartbeat. The traitors spat, defiant. "You are no different than the empires. You come with ships, you come with guns, you pretend to be kind, but you are only conquerors." The Marines raised their rifles, waiting for Rourke's order. Silence stretched like a knife. Then a small voice broke it. A child from the starving people stepped forward, tears streaking his face. He clutched a piece of bread in his hands. "Please," he cried, "do not go. Do not hurt us. Not all are traitors. Not all hate you. Please, stay." The crowd erupted in sobs. Hundreds fell to their knees, begging. The sight shook even the human soldiers. Rourke raised his hand. The rifles lowered. His voice thundered across the square. "Earth will not punish the innocent for the crimes of the guilty. Remember this night. We forgive once more, but our patience has limits. Test us again, and you will see fire, not mercy." The traitors were taken away in silence, their defiance drowned by the cries of the people. The next day, human aid continued, but something had changed. The aliens no longer saw only saviors. They saw protectors who could unleash unimaginable destruction, and word spread beyond their world. Signals carried stories of humans who fed the starving, yet stood with fleets of war. Stories that reached empires, warlords, and enemies alike. In a hidden chamber far above, a transmission blinked to life. A rival alien empire had been listening. Their commander sneered as the report came in. "Humans give food to the weak. They think themselves noble. But we see the truth. They are preparing for war. And if they want to play empire, we will crush them." Fleet orders were given. Engines roared. An invasion force was on its way. Back on the ground, Soraya sensed the storm. She stood beside Rourke, her voice trembling. "Others have heard. They will come for you. They will come for us." Rourke only nodded, his eyes calm. "Let them come. Earth will show them mercy when possible, but might when necessary." And above them, human battlecruisers shifted in formation, their shadows stretching across the alien sky. The feast of mercy had ended, and the galaxy was about to learn the price of testing human strength. The air over the alien world grew heavy, though humans brought food and medicine. Though the people laughed again, an uneasiness spread through the camps. It was as if the shadows themselves were watching, waiting. Soraya walked through the campfires at night. She saw children smiling with bread in their hands, but she also heard whispers. Not all were grateful. Some muttered that humans came not as saviors but as rulers. Their words poisoned hearts. Inside the cells, the captured warlords still plotted, their voices low, their eyes burning with hate. They sent secret messages through hidden channels, messages that reached beyond the stars to powers that despised Earth. One evening, Captain Rourke stood in the command tent, maps and screens glowing around him. His officers reported strange signals, unknown transmissions leaving the planet. "Traitors again," Rourke muttered, his jaw tight. "They beg for help while selling us to our enemies," his second officer asked. "Shall we strike them down, Captain?" Rourke's eyes were cold. "Not yet. Expose them first. Let all see their treachery. Then no one will doubt where Earth stands." The very next day, humans invited both leaders and common people to a grand assembly. Beneath the shadow of their towering ships, tables were filled with food, fruits and bread overflowing, music playing, laughter spreading like light. But Rourke had prepared a different kind of feast. When the warlord sat smug among the crowd, believing they had fooled everyone, Rourke stepped forward, his voice echoing across the plain. "We came with mercy, but mercy cannot live beside lies. There are those among you who betray not only us, but your own starving people." Suddenly, giant screens lit up, showing recordings of the traitors sending transmissions, their voices offering coordinates of human ships to a rival empire, their hands exchanging codes with foreign agents. The crowd erupted. Gasps, shouts, tears, mothers clutching children, fathers cursing. Soraya's face went pale with rage and sorrow. The traitors jumped to their feet, shouting, "Lies! Humans forged this!" But their words drowned in the roar of their own people who now saw them for what they truly were. Rourke raised his hand and silence fell. "The galaxy may doubt us, but your own eyes cannot. They chose to sell you for power. They chose to sell us for revenge. We forgive hunger, we forgive fear, but we do not forgive betrayal." The people surged forward, demanding punishment. Stones were thrown, curses screamed, but Rourke lifted his voice again, calm yet thunderous. "Earth will not spill blood in anger, but know this. Your traitors have invited an enemy fleet. They will be here soon. If you wish to live, stand with us, not with them." The warlords were dragged away in chains, this time not only by humans, but by their own people, their power shattered before all. Soraya stood beside Rourke, tears in her eyes. "You have given us life, and you have shown us truth. My people see now you are not conquered." "Roars, you are guardians, but the enemy you speak of, who are they?" Rourke's eyes narrowed as he pointed to the sky. "Scouts report hostile ships already on the edge of the system. They come with greed. They come because of betrayal, and they will not stop until one of us is ashes." That night, fear blanketed the world. Children cried as their parents told them war was coming. Humans worked without rest, loading weapons, powering shields, placing defenses around the camps they had built. The alien people gathered, watching with trembling hearts as human battle cruisers formed walls of steel in the sky, engines burning like suns. But in the darkness, Soraya felt a strange spark of pride. Her people were weak, broken, divided. Yet now they had a chance, because humans had chosen to fight not for profit, not for empire, but for mercy. And mercy was worth protecting. When the enemy fleet finally appeared, its ships stretching across the horizon like a storm, the galaxy would see a truth no council had ever imagined. Earth had brought bread, but Earth had also brought fire. The sky above the alien world darkened. At first it was only a shadow. Then the shadow grew, stretching across the horizon. Ships, hundreds of them, sleek, sharp, glowing with cruel light. The rival empire had come. Their commander's voice thundered through open channels, cold and mocking. "Humans, you feed the weak as if they are worth saving. You disgrace the galaxy with your pity. We will erase you. We will erase them, and nothing will remain but dust." Panic spread through the camps. Mothers clutched their children. Fathers looked to the sky with despair. Soraya stood frozen, her heart pounding as fear returned like a storm. But in the command tent, Captain Rourke's voice was steady. His officers leaned in as he gave orders. "Deploy the battle line. Freighters fall back behind the cruisers. Civilians to the shelters. Medical teams ready. No panic, no hesitation. We are Earth. And today the galaxy will see who we are. The ground trembled as human battlecruisers rose higher, engines roaring, shields glowing like suns, lines of steel and fire stretching across the planet's orbit. The alien people gathered in the ruins below, their eyes wide as they watched. The very ships that had delivered food now became walls of war. Soraya whispered to herself, "They are not conquerors. They are protectors." The enemy fleet moved closer, their formation perfect, their weapons burning with power. Their commanders sneered, "You are outnumbered, humans. Surrender and leave, and we may let you crawl away." Rourke's reply cut like thunder. "We do not crawl. We do not surrender. Earth does not abandon those we choose to protect." The first strike came suddenly. Blazing beams tore across the void, explosions lighting the darkness, enemy weapons hammered at human shields. The sky shook, the ground below quaked, the people screamed, covering their ears as fire rained above. But then they saw something that stole their breath. The human line did not break. Their shields held, their guns lit up in reply, massive cannons fired from Earth's ships. Each shot a sunburst tearing through enemy hulls. Explosions painted the heavens. One enemy cruiser after another split apart, fire and wreckage falling like meteors. The aliens below gasped, hope sparking as they realized humans could fight giants and win. But the enemy fleet was vast. Wave after wave surged forward. For every ship destroyed, two more pressed in. The sky became a storm of light and fire. Inside his flagship, Rourke stood unshaken, though the deck shook with impacts. "Hold the line," he commanded. "Show them our strength. But remember, our mission is not conquest. It is protection. Let the galaxy see that mercy and might can stand together." Back on the ground, Soraya ran to the shelters, guiding her people, but she paused as she saw human medics tending not only to her kind but also to wounded enemy pilots dragged from fallen ships. Her eyes widened. "Even in war, they heal. They do not hate," she whispered, tears in her eyes. Above, the battle raged louder. Enemy ships broke through gaps, diving toward the planet. Human interceptors screamed after them, dogfights flashing like fireflies in the night. One enemy destroyer breached the atmosphere, aiming for the refugee camps. Soraya's people screamed, but then a human cruiser dove after it, shields burning, guns roaring. It collided head-on, destroying the destroyer in a blinding flash. The human ship fell in flames, but the camp below was saved. The aliens fell to their knees, watching as strangers gave their lives for them. Rourke's voice carried across all channels, heavy with fire. "Let them come, let them see. Earth does not run, Earth does not bow. We fight for those who cannot, and we will not break." But even as the humans held, reports came in. More enemy fleets were on the way. The betrayal had called them all. This was only the first wave. Soraya stood beside Rourke in the command tent, her voice shaking. "They will come again and again. You cannot fight them all. You will die for us." Rourke looked at her, calm even in chaos. "Then we die with honor, but I do not believe we will die, because mercy inspires, and soon you will see the weak you call yourselves will rise." As explosions tore across the heavens, as the enemy regrouped for another strike, a seed of courage sparked inside Soraya's heart. For the first time she believed her people could stand beside humans, not behind them. The enemy had arrived, but so had something the galaxy never expected. Hope. The battle in orbit shook the skies. Explosions flashed like storms. Human ships burned but did not break. Still, the enemy pressed harder. Their commanders snarled across the CD. "Panels, humans, your mercy is weakness. Your fire will run out. Soon your fleet will be dust." But inside the human flagship, Rourke stood firm, his voice steady as steel. "We have not yet shown you the true strength of Earth." With a signal from his hand, hidden ships decloaked from the darkness. Massive dreadnoughts built in secret, their hulls black as night, their cannons glowing like suns. The enemy froze in shock. "Fire," Rourke commanded. The void erupted. Human dreadnoughts unleashed torrents of energy. Whole enemy cruisers shattered in a single blast, their fleets torn open like paper. The tide of war shifted in seconds. Below, the alien people saw the night sky blazing with fire. Soraya stood with her people, watching in awe. "They brought us food, but they also brought the power of gods," she whispered. Cheers erupted in the camps as enemy ships fell. hope soared. Children laughed for the first time during battle, but hidden among the shadows of the ruins, traitors still moved. These traitors, loyal to the fallen warlords, activated beacons, calling even more enemy reinforcements. Worse, they planted bombs near the human supply depots. Suddenly, fire ripped through the ground camps. Explosions tore through tents filled with medicine and food. Screams filled the air. Mothers clutched their children as chaos spread. Human Marines rushed to contain the flames. Medics carried the wounded, but the traitors struck again, ambushing guards, stealing weapons, spreading panic. Soraya saw it with her own eyes. Her heart broke. "They are killing their own people just to defy the humans," she cried. Rourke's voice thundered over comms. "Traitors in the camps, secure the civilians. Do not let the enemy win through betrayal." The people turned against the traitors. For the first time standing with the humans, they shouted. They fought back with stones, sticks, whatever they could find. Many fell, but they resisted. In the skies, the enemy sent another Gibu, larger than before, massive carriers spilling out fighters like swarms of locusts. The humans fired back. Space became a burning sea of wreckage, but in the command room, Rourke's face was grim. "We cannot hold forever. They will keep coming. The beacons have drawn them all." Soraya entered, her face pale but her voice strong. "Then let us fight beside you. We are weak, yes, but you have shown us courage. Give us weapons. Let us stand with you, or we will remain slaves to fear." Rourke studied her for a long moment, then nodded. "Very well. Earth does not fight alone." Human officers handed out rifles, trained civilians in minutes, side by side. Humans and aliens prepared to defend the camps. That night, the feast of bread turned into a feast of fire. Tables that once held food now became barricades. Kitchens turned into command posts. Children hidden in cellars while their parents armed themselves. When the enemy broke through the skies and descended with ground forces, they expected to find helpless prey. Instead, they found humans and aliens standing together, shields raised, weapons glowing. The first clash was brutal. Enemy soldiers stormed the ruins, but Marines and civilians fought back with a fury born of desperation. The camps that once echoed with laughter now roared with battle cries. Soraya herself fired her weapon, protecting a group of children. She had never killed before, but her hands no longer shook. She stood like stone beside human soldiers, in orbit. Human dreadnoughts continued to hammer the enemy, yet for every enemy ship destroyed, more emerged from hyperspace. The sky burned endlessly. Rourke's officers shouted updates. "Shields at 30%, ammunition running low, but we still hold." The enemy commander sneered once more, his voice dripping with contempt. "Humans, you are stubborn, but you cannot save them. Mercy has due. Omed you, and soon fire will consume you all." Rourke's reply was quiet but deadly. "Mercy has never doomed us. It has only made us stronger. And tonight, you will learn that lesson." As the night stretched on, as fire consumed the feast, humans and aliens stood shoulder to shoulder, and though the sky was filled with endless enemies, a new truth was born. The weak were no longer only weak. They had seen mercy, they had seen might, and now they carried both within themselves. The world trembled under the weight of war. Skies burned red as wreckage rained from above. The ground shook with every blast. Humans and aliens fought side by side, their cries mixing into one voice of survival. The enemy pressed harder, pouring more ships into orbit. Their commander laughed across the channels. "Humans, you fight like fools, bleeding for the weak. Your mercy will bury you." But Captain Rourke stood unbroken on the command deck, his eyes sharp, his voice steady. "Earth does not bleed in vain. We bleed so others may rise, and that makes us unstoppable." In the camps below, Soraya led her people with fire in her heart. She once begged for help. Now she carried a rifle and shouted orders. "Hold the line, protect the children, fight with the humans." Her people, once starving and hopeless, now stood shoulder to shoulder with human Marines, rifles blazing, barricades burning. Their fear turned into fury. Above them, the enemy sent its largest ships forward, dreadnoughts the size of cities. Their cannons charged with enough power to split the planet. Despair washed over the defenders, but Rourke gave a signal. Human dreadnoughts repositioned, forming a shield wall before the planet, their hulls glowing as they absorbed hit after hit. Cracks spread across their armor, alarms blared, yet not one ship pulled away. On the ground, children cried, watching the sky filled with fire. But Soraya knelt before them, her voice steady. Do not cry, look, the humans are still there. They have not left us, and neither will we. Her words spread like flame, courage flowing. Through her people, in orbit, Rourke clenched his fist, his voice thundering. All ships, prepare the final strike for Earth, for mercy, for every innocent who calls to the stars. Human fleets unleashed everything, cannons blazing, torpedoes tearing through enemy hulls. The void exploded with suns of fire. Enemy dreadnoughts shattered one by one, their fleets crumbling under the storm. But victory came at a price. Human ships fell in flames. Brave crews sacrificed themselves to shield the planet. Each explosion carved sorrow into the hearts of those watching below. When the last enemy flagship cracked apart, its commander's voice faded into static, disbelief dripping from his final words. Mercy, stronger than war. Then silence. The battlefield went quiet, wreckage drifting across the stars like broken crowns. Human ships, battered but unbowed, still guarded the planet. On the ground, the people cheered, tears streaming, voices rising like thunder. Humans, 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 they cried, not as strangers but as saviors. Soraya fell to her knees, not in despair but in gratitude. She looked at Rourke and whispered, You gave us food, you gave us hope, you gave us courage. We are alive because of you. Rourke shook his head, his voice calm. You are alive because you chose to stand. We gave you bread and fire, but you carried it. Remember this day. Mercy and might together are stronger than fear. The galaxy watched, silent and shaken. News of the battle spread across systems. Stories of humans who fed the starving and fought empires reached every council and throne. No longer could Earth be mocked. No longer could they be called weak. Their name carried new weight, a weight forged not by conquest but by compassion. And for Soraya's people, the lesson would never be forgotten. In their darkest hour, when no one else came, Earth answered, that night, as fire. As dimmed and stars shone once more, humans and aliens sat together, sharing the last of the bread, their laughter echoing through ruins, not as saviors and saved, but as allies. The galaxy had learned a truth it could never erase. Mercy is not weakness, kindness is not chains, and humanity, once ignored, had become the fire that no empire could extinguish. Earth had brought feasts, Earth had brought warships, but most of all, Earth had brought a future.